Charles Stephen, thank you so much for coming in, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Perry. Nice to see you again, mate.
I know it took us like a few weeks to organize this, so thank you for your time.
Always a pleasure.
I've always been harassing you. I want to try to pick your brain. You just have 15 years of experience. You've been in real estate since 2009?
Yeah, end of 2009, I moved across into the real estate game. And in hindsight, I wish I'd done it 10 years earlier.
Right. On that, what you used to do before?
So I've been in Australia since 2001. And in 2001, I came across and worked for Microsoft for a couple of years.
Yes.
In the IT sector.
Yeah.
And then I moved into my own health and fitness business, ran that for 4 years, and then went into the financial markets, trading in global equities and options and warrants. And then in the GFC, I moved across into real estate.
Interesting. Okay. Health and fitness. So did you run a gym, or you were a PT, or you work at the gym? What do you say?
I was a PT through Fitness First, and I had corporate groups, so I was focusing more into the corporate sector.
Got it.
Running corporate group training in the city.
Okay. And after that, when you decide, all right, I want to get out of this, what's the...
So I was close to 40, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this for the long term, I'm going to be getting up at 4 a.m. every morning, getting home at 9 o'clock at night. Not the best idea when you want to have kids and a family.
Yeah.
So I looked for other options, and one of my clients actually offered me a role in the trading market. So I geared myself up and went off and got my license, and then started in the equity markets.
So you were actually trading?
Trading in equities. Our clients that I was working for, I had clients who were working with me, and I was basically their broker, doing their day in and day out trades.
Interesting. Okay. So, and you born and bred in
South Africa.
South Africa, and you choose to move in 2001 in Sydney.
Yep. So I was 29 when I came across.
Okay. What's the reason?
Just
similar background to me.
Yeah,
that's
totally. But just I guess the long-term future of what South Africa has and is holding. I believe that there's better opportunities in Australia than there were back in South Africa, especially if you want to have families and kids from safety and economically.
Got it. Did you choose, did you have a family when you moved?
I've got 2 cousins who lived in Australia.
Right.
And they enticed me to come across for a holiday. So I came across for a 6-week holiday, and here I am.
Okay.
23 years later.
Right, well done. Okay, so now you started in real estate in 2009. How was the first year as a real estate agent?
So when I started in 2009, I approached McGrath, having got my certificate, and I got a role within McGrath with one of the agents as a co-agent. The first 3 years were really tough. It's getting your name out there, it's getting the market to know who you are, getting out there in terms of why they should call you if they're looking to sell as opposed to somebody else. Yeah. So the first 2 to 3 years were really, really tough. From year 5 onwards, it started to pick up quite considerably, and 12, 14, 15 years into it, it's going very well.
Interesting. Okay. And how old were you when you started in real estate?
Just turning 39. Turning 39 when I started. And now at this stage in the game, it's about 75% of my business is repeat and referral.
That's so good. Okay. So is it because starting the career in real estate in a very competitive market at 39... Because I believe at 39 you start to have a lot of things on your plate. Did you have family then?
No, so I got married 2 years later.
Got it. Okay. And what gets you going when you say, after 1 year and after 2 years, when you're competing with the big player in this area?
So the way I looked at it when I started in real estate, I've always been in sales ever since I was a young kid. I've always had a sales role, a sales job right through school.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate in that sense. And when I started, I looked at it as a marathon.
Yeah.
Some agents will look at it as a race, and some will look at it as a marathon. This is a marathon. It's a long-term game.
Yeah.
If you're in for the short-term returns, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You've literally got to be out there for the long term.
Yeah. Okay. That's wow. And you had your first kid after 2 years in real estate.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And you say the first 3 years were the most challenging.
Correct.
Okay. This is like, because I see the data, and 80% of the real estate agents, they quit after 6 months or 12 months. Okay. Now, did you already have that mindset before starting? Like, all right, I know I'm not going to do well straight away. Did you have that in mind, or you just jumped into it to see what happened?
So when I started, before I started, my wife, then my girlfriend, fiance, said to me, if we're going to get married and have kids, I'm still working at the moment, so I can carry you for the next couple of years to get you going in real estate.
Yeah.
After the next couple of years, if we start having kids, then I'm going to have to fall back on you. So if you're going to make that move, that career change, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
So I did it and never looked back. The best career change I've ever made.
Wow. And when you got to the point where you start to see, I wouldn't say predictability, but consistency, you start to feel comfortable into the role, like what make you realize, okay, I can do this now long term? Like, was like a specific transaction, was a specific conversation, was in a specific, what make you confident, all right, I'm going to do this for the next 10 to 15 years?
I guess it comes down to your skill set. I love working with people. I'm hungry. This industry that we are in, whether it's you're selling a $300,000 apartment or a $10 million home, it's the same transactional process.
Yes.
And it's all about how you connect with those owners and meeting new people every day. And having that opportunity to work for them with selling their biggest assets or working with their biggest assets is a privilege.
What was your schedule look like the first 2-3 years as a real estate agent? Like, all right, I wake up, I need to do this number of calls, I go to the gym first, and what
at the beginning, just before we started having kids, I would be up at 4:30 in the morning, training in the gym, and then coming home, going off to work, full day at work, coming home in the evening, and then having dinner, and after dinner, going to do my letterbox drops. Letterbox dropping would start around probably 8 o'clock, and sometimes I'll be out there box dropping up until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Because of those days, obviously the majority of your business came through word of mouth and through, say, letters and getting your name out there into the market. And I didn't have the funds in those days to pay somebody to do it, so I had to do it myself.
So you did letter drop box after dinner?
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
Most evenings I'll be doing that.
All right, this is something to be... All right, to clarify. So you wake up at 4:30 a.m., you go to the gym, you do your workouts.
Correct.
You go home, you do your real estate day-to-day, what's their calls?
All the day-to-day Monday stuff that you have to do as an agent.
Yeah, you finish around 6.
5:36.
5:36, go back home,
Correct.
have a dinner.
Yep.
Stay with the family. After dinner...
Start the letterbox dropping.
Oh my God. Every day?
I would do that 4 days a week in those days. And then over a period of time, I'd say probably in the last 3 or 4 years, things have started to change, obviously, with repeat business, referral business. So I cut back on that sector and went more into the social media side, the AI side, and all the new technologies that are coming out now.
Wow. Okay, that's a proper hustling, because now you are more established, and 70-75% of your business.
70-75% is referral. Repeat.
Good. That's actually a very good numbers. What are the things that you are still doing that you were doing like 10-15 years ago?
So,
because of course you evolved as a real estate agent, and now you are established. People know your name, but there are still a few things that you're still doing it.
Yeah. So you've just got to keep yourself out there in front of everybody. You've got to be the first person on their minds when they think real estate agents. So I'm still on the phones doing the day-to-day calls. I'm still doing all the letterbox drops from time to time. I'm doing social posting, social media. I've gone through the whole AI side, which was great in the beginning stages when it first came out. Now everybody's doing AI, so you've got to really look at other options out there and other areas that you can differentiate yourself from the rest of the market.
So you're saying AI has been helpful regards automation on nurturing clients?
Absolutely. At the beginning, probably 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it was fantastic. And now I'm finding that everybody's doing it. So you send out a text message, it's AI text message, other agents pick up the same text message, copy it and send it out to your same clients who gets from you, get from everybody else. So there's no difference between you and anybody else out there. What makes you stand out as an agent is doing things differently.
Yeah. So you're saying there's still the personal touch.
Absolutely.
Has to be there to make a difference.
Absolutely. So letterbox dropping, yes, that works. Social media, yes, it works. It's just points of contact.
Yeah.
You know, somebody sees you in your letterbox, somebody sees you on social media, they see a signboard up, they get another just listed letter, they come to your open home, they see on the internet, you're getting out there.
Yeah.
Often I go into a coffee shop and somebody comes up to me and says, I've seen you before, and then they realize they actually seen me in their letterbox.
That's a good sign when it's working. Wow. Okay. I love that. 75% returning clients or referrals means there is a big sign of trust.
Yeah.
Okay. And in this industry is huge because there is a lot of not trustworthy operator out there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is something like the number says. So what's the tip that would you give to maybe a naive real estate agent or maybe someone who try to play games? Just try to get a business and win short term, but they're not going to win long term.
So do it the right way. Stick to your morals and ethics.
Yeah.
Plenty of agents out there are buying listings in this current market especially.
Yeah.
And they push the hopes up of the vendors, but the reality is the prices are not there in the end. So go in, have your comparables. The comparables stack up for the last 3 months. Beyond 3 months, it's a different market.
Yeah.
So really the last 3 months, and focus on your strengths and what you can do to help that owner get the best price for their property. Being honest is the best way forward.
And do you think like vendors realize that? Like
they're slowly starting to see it. It's taken a while because an agent will often go in and say your home's worth $4 million when actually it's not. It's probably worth $3 million. And then they will try to condition them down on price the whole way through the campaign, knowing that there's reasons behind why they have to sell.
Right.
So they'll really work on their emotions, pull the price down, and end up getting the sale across the line, as opposed to going in and saying the home's worth $3 million, but if there's 3.5 out there, we'll get it for you. And having the right strategies in place stand you as an agent much better in the long run.
I love that. Now, this is great because I believe the long term, that's what really matter.
Absolutely.
In my eyes. And I've noticed like I've been full time in the industry just over 3 years now, full time, and now I start to see people coming back for the second purchase or refer clients, and I love that because
Absolutely.
I still need to prospect a lot. But it's nice to see that people refer me other clients or previous purchases. It's very, not just like from a financial reward point of view, but in a fulfilling. Like someone that recommend me someone is like really make me, proud. And, it's nice to see the real estate agents. They don't just focus on, get the short-term business, but they think the long-term because this potential buyer is going to become a vendor.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and it often happens quicker than you realize.
Man, that's amazing. No, thank you. Okay, so I'm still thinking the fact that you go home, have a dinner, you do the letterbox. That's amazing. How do you manage your time? Because you have 2 kids, a family, they go to school, cars. You got properties, and so you still need to prospect. You're managing a team, so. How do you manage your time?
You just got to make it work. You've just got to make it work. My wife works 3 days a week. So yes, juggling kids is always a challenge. But that's the beauty of this role that you have as an agent. You have the flexibility of working from home, working in the car, working in the office. You can work at night, you can work during the day, you can work Saturdays and Sundays if you want. So my phone's never off. It's always on. People phone me in the evenings, on the weekends, I answer the call. If I don't, I always return the calls. With the kids, it's obviously a bit of a challenge, because there's demands in different areas, but you work that in, because at the end of the day, they're only going to be young for a very short period of time. And once they get to a certain age, they want to move on. And that's when you can really start focusing again back in the roles.
Nice. If your kids come to you and say, Dad, I want to get into real estate, what do you do?
I would let them come in. Well, I've got 2 daughters, so I'd let them come into the office, see what I do day to day. I think they know well enough by now what I do, and I don't think they will be wanting to get into the real estate game. They've got other aspirations in their life.
Okay, so you're saying no, don't do it. Okay, that's good. Okay, mate, that's great. In the weekend, is your family time?
Sundays, yes.
Is the family time, and Monday to Saturday, real estate.
Real estate.
How do you organize your year? Means, do you have like, I'm gonna get 3-4 weeks off, that's the holiday time? Because as a common trend in the East, December, January tend to be a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
February started to be busier, September started to be busier. So how do you organize during the year?
I'm not very good at organising that, to be honest, but what I do is over that Christmas period, I do take time off, normally around 3 weeks, catch up with family. Otherwise, sometimes in the June, July holidays as well, or school holidays, we'd organise a trip, maybe interstate or so. But most of the time, we just do short weekends away, long weekends away with the family when we can.
Okay. For someone that is want to get into the industry, buyer's agent, real estate agents, anything, what do you think are the key attributes to actually make a career out of this?
You've got to be driven as a person, as an individual. You've got to have the mindset that this is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. So it's like a marathon, not a short race. You've got to be prepared to spend the hours getting your name out into the market.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing that, everybody else is doing it. You've got to be one step ahead of your competition.
Got it. And let's say someone, because you're managing a team as well, so you're moving from a solo real estate agent to managing a team. Let's say someone want to come and join your team. Okay.
Yep.
What's the key attribute that you're looking for? I said, all right, if you got this, we can make it work. If not, it's better not even apply with me.
I tend to look at more the younger generation of people coming through, because they're more hungry. They haven't got the commitments like kids, family, and that sort of life at the moment. They've got to be hungry. They've got to be personable. They've got to be able to interact with people well, and they've got to be able to have good communication skills. They've got to have good time management attributes to them, and be very much goal driven.
Yeah, you need to have a bit of a competitive mind to have a dinner and go do the letterbox after.
You've just got to.
You just got
to do it.
No, mate, I love that. No, that's amazing, mate. Thank you to speaking the truth, and I love sending the message out there, because a lot of people see nice cars and see nice things, but they don't know what it takes for them to get there.
I'm not into the fast cars and all that sort of side.
I mean, at
the end of the day, it comes down to who you are as an agent, not what car you drive.
No, I agree. I agree. Maybe a nice car as well would be nice, but
True.
I agree with that. Okay, so this is more of a tip for buyers. Okay, so buyers, they go out there in the market, they go around Randwick, they want to buy a property. Maybe let's focus on the first home buyer.
Yep.
September 2024, they want to buy the property before December. Okay, they go, they inspect the property. What is the tip do you give to the first home buyer to actually try to secure a property in this competitive marketplace?
So first thing I'd say to them is, have you got your finance ready?
Yeah.
If you haven't got your finance ready, get that ready. Okay, get pre-approval through. If you see a property then which ticks 7 out of the 10 boxes that you like, doesn't matter who it's with, but if you see a property out there that 7 of the 10 boxes are ticked, go for it. The longer you hold back, the longer it's going to take you to get into the market.
Yeah.
If you look back in the early 70s, buyers were saying, I'm going to wait till interest rates drop before I get into the market. If they had waited, that have waited till the early 1990s, by which time the property market quadrupled in value. So you were well behind the ball game.
Yeah.
So there's no time to wait. If you see a property that ticks your boxes, jump in, because you'll only add value providing it's in a good location.
That's a great tip, and I hear this on the phone all the time. So, because in these pockets, this Coogee or Randwick, the price doesn't look like it's going down at all for years. And I see people, what they could buy 6-12 months ago, now they can't buy anymore.
Correct. And the number of buyers in the market, when interest rates do come back off, is going to jump quite considerably. And we don't see a massive number of properties hitting the market in the next 3 months or so.
Mate, thank you for bringing now interest rate, which lead me to the next question. Of course, nobody has the crystal ball, okay? But I'm asking to someone who is a day-to-day real estate practitioner in this pocket. What do you think is the impact of interest rate coming forward?
So, over the last 2-3 years, while interest rates have been going up, in the Eastern Suburbs, it hasn't had much of an impact in terms of buying power. The buyers are out there, they're still out there, there's still properties transacting day in and day out. When interest rates start to come back off, you're going to see a run in the property market. That's what I believe. There will definitely be a run in the property market in terms of more buyers getting into the market. If the number of properties remains consistent to what it is at the moment, you'll see the supply and demand. The supply out there will be way less than the demand, which is going to carry on causing prices to continue upward.
Okay. And for a vendor point of view, what do you hear on the phone? And let's say someone that is calling you, getting information from you. They're not sure if they want to sell it now, if they want to wait. So what would you say is the tip for the for vendors out there? They actually want to sell, but they try to find out the right time. I believe you hear some of this stuff on the phone.
Yeah. So I will always organize face-to-face meetings with the vendors, sit down with them, and find out what their goal is, why they're looking to sell. Is it because they're looking to upsize, downsize, move into state? Personally speaking, if you can afford to hold on to property in the Eastern Suburbs, hold on to it. It's always going to go up in value. That's my belief.
100%. It's a blue chip location.
Correct. But if you need to sell, well, then it's going to come down to your own personal timing. If you need to sell in the next, say, 3 to 6 months, you can then discuss how the market is how you predict the market is going to go in the next 3 to 6 months with interest rates, etc. So it's on a time-by-time basis. If you're looking at the short-term time frame between now and Christmas, you've only got a couple more weeks to really list this side of Christmas, because you've got the state elections, you've got an October long weekend, school holidays, and then after the school holidays, you've got 3 or 4 weeks to list to make sure your auction's going to be before the mid-December. After the 16th of December, you'll be looking pretty much at a February auction.
Got it. Around that time, I know a lot of real estate agents gone on a holiday. December, January, where it's supposed to be the quiet time. What do you normally do as a real estate? Yes, you're on holiday, of course, but do you have stock ready to put it on the market in February, or do you prospect for new business to put it on the market in February? How do you work it out?
So I normally go on leave in literally just before Christmas, with my properties ready to go live second week in January. So I tend to start early in January, before most other agents. So you're ahead of the ball game. So your auctions are scheduled before the general market goes to auction. So you give them your vendors that competitive edge. December, January is actually the busiest time on REA and Domain. More buyers are out there looking because they've got time off. If you look at the stats, Domain and REA, very much they say that their highest traffic in terms of the year is over that December-January period.
It's funny that you mentioned that. There's one of the busy time as a buyer's agent. That's where I sign more people. The reason why, and how it goes, is because they've been searching since September. They didn't secure any property. And they got to the point like, all right, I need to buy the property. And I see this every year around December and January, or actually January more than December. They all sign up to use a buyer's agent because they say, all right, I need to get it done.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's interesting, that you mentioned this, because people are on holiday, they jump on realestate.com and domain, and they spend time on what house I like.
New Year's resolution, they want to buy a property.
New Year resolution.
They want to get into it before summer finishes.
Yeah.
Especially if it's near the beaches.
That's so true. I love that. Thank you for that. Do you break down your personal goal like family goal or fitness goal or business goal or financial goal? Are you more of a goal visualized person, or you just go for it? And
look, I have my goals, long-term goals, but if you stick to your routine, what you do all the time, and you're always looking to improve your routine, I've got a better chance of exceeding your goals.
That's an important point, actually. Stick with your routine. I offered you lunch and you said no. I offered you that you said no. And that says a lot about the person. So stick with your routine and learn how to say no.
Correct.
Are you more of a guy that sometimes get like, I've had my cheat meal, or are you like, Sunday is my cheat day? Or you just everything is organized and gonna stick with the habit and nothing is gonna change?
I've slacked off on that side quite considerably over the last probably 2-3 years while COVID's out there. But now definitely my focus is back there on the training side, trying to get fit again. And so I've done it in the past multiple times. I know I can do it. So absolutely, it's a goal out there and I'll do it.
From a fitness point of view, what do you do? Gym now?
Yeah, gym, a lot of walking.
Walking,
gym, and now that I'm going to start doing more letterbox drops again.
It's a good workout, is it?
It's a good workout. You're doing 8 to 10k walks. And also what's good about that is you're actually getting to see what your competition's out there, who your competition is, what they're listing, what they're selling, what's selling in the streets around you. So you've got that knowledge on your fingertips right away.
Do you always let it box in the evening?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the best time to do it?
It's cool. It's cold. It's cooler.
It's fresh.
It's fresh. It's cooler. So yeah.
Mate, thank you so much for this. If someone want to contact you, vendors, someone want to work with you, they can find you on Instagram, website, anywhere?
Absolutely. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, on the McGrath website, or you can contact me through you, Perry.
Yes, I'll send it to you. Charles Stephen. Your Instagram is Charles Stephen?
Charles N. Stevens.
Charles N. Stephen.
Charles N. Stevens.
Charles N. Stevens. I'll put the link below. If you have any more questions, you want to be in contact with me or Charles, just send me a message. Charles, thank you so much for coming in, mate.
Thanks, Perry. Nice to see you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
This is general advice and does not take into consideration your objectives, situation, or needs. You should consider if this advice is suitable to you or your circumstances, and please read any applicable PDFs beforehand. This is a Henderson podcast production.